Alright, alright, guys. Hope you can hear me. Testing, testing. Friday, first day of September. I am, of 2023. I'm driving towards a space to record. The air might be too loud. Sorry. I'm trying to air out the car some. Yeah, gonna go do some recording. I wasn't gonna go to the beach, but maybe I should just go by the beach. I don't know. It might be full, but it might be a little nicer. But I don't know. There's definitely people walking around the beach. I don't know, guys. It's still kind of hot. It's gonna be kind of hot in this car still. Try to see if I can air it out some. Oh man. I'm almost there. I'm about to turn into the lot from the highway. Slowing up. Alright, slowing up to get in there. Let's see. I'm just not too sure how much this battery might be potentially drained. I'm not able to really tell how much this battery might be drained. If I do allow it. So I'm trying to back in, park. Alright. Still backing in at parking. This does not feel straight. Right. It's about as straight as I'm gonna get, I guess. Alright. Takes me around 3 minutes to get here. Looks like. Let's see if I'll be okay with the back windows kind of cracked. It's okay. Sorry for that 3.5 or almost 4 minute long delay. Trying to get situated. So yeah, today's Friday. I'm drained. Yesterday I did set up for this interview, and we'll get to that. But pretty much after that point, I went to an appointment. I went and grabbed a burger for lunch yesterday. My mom was already cooking lunch, like a late lunch. It was probably around 2. She was making some turkey taco meat. And I guess this morning when I went out, I thought that she had made like lentils. I thought there were lentils in there. But it had really only been turkey. And then just ate that. So for breakfast, I didn't have much today. But before that, you know, um, yesterday evening, Thursday, I didn't do a good job of eating dinner. I had In-N-Out for lunch, which was a late lunch, and then I think I was eating around 2 or so, and then I went from eating around that time to doing some tasks that were important. I just can't remember what they were. Probably a little prep for the interview. I feel like I was working on something, but I don't know what. And then there was a point where I started watching a movie, um, and then I watched the second movie. So I think last night I watched Persepolis, and then I watched All Quiet on the Western Front. I knew I wanted to stay up late, but I also knew I had an interview in the morning. And I ate crappy food around 8:45 after the first movie ended. I ate um this is a weird combination, man. It was like those mini pack of barbecue chips. I had a like a boiled egg. Like in the mornings when I make boiled eggs, I try to make like one extra um boiled egg. So that's kind of what I was doing, and then I kind of just had an extra one, and then I saw this like strawberry pie kind of like sitting on the table, so I ate that. Um, and so yeah, like I was fed, but I thought at first I was like, well, the In-N-Out's gonna hold me, and then second, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna actually be up late, I'm gonna have to eat again, like if I was gonna go to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's like okay, I can kind of just go to bed. But I'm like, once it was almost 9 and I hadn't eaten anything, and I was like, well, I'm not trying to go to sleep yet. I want to watch another movie, so I ate something. And All Quiet on the Western Front, I've seen it before. I've seen Persepolis before too. They're not the most cheery of movies. They're not like happy themes. There's maybe some like upbeat, funny-ish parts here and there, but they're both fairly dark movies. But of course I watched them anyways. And I had a feeling, I was like, this might slightly affect me. Like, I didn't assume it was gonna affect me like a whole lot, which it didn't affect me a whole lot, but you know, sleeping wasn't like super easy, especially because I'd had that C4 in the morning, and I've started having coffee around like 5. So mm, I'm hydrating right now, which is a bad idea. So yeah, I started having coffee around 5. Um, and I've done it multiple nights this week. Had coffee like in the afternoon, like around noon or around another time, and then like C4 in the morning or coffee in the morning. So having caffeine like twice a day, which is usually very unlike me. Like you guys know how I am with caffeine, but um, also I'd say that the amount of um the amount that I use of um like edibles to fall asleep at night is it might be a little bit too high. Um I was actually gonna order some CBD and then never did it. I haven't done it yet. So um and I'm in the place where I could like the lot that I'm in has like a pharmacy where I could probably just pick up where I usually pick up melatonin gummies, and so I could go pick them up, but I keep telling myself, like I'm not going to spend on those, but it might be a good idea. I don't know. I feel like melatonin actually leaves me more groggy the next day. Like cannabis, I think it still does affect me in the mornings a little bit, but I feel like it's in a good way, maybe. Like, I don't really know. Like, it doesn't feel entirely like as negative as melatonin feels. Like, melatonin for me knocks me out quicker, for sure, but I feel like the way I feel the day after having melatonin at night compared to the way I feel after having like some cannabis is not the same feeling. And so that's something I'm trying to figure out. And yeah, in this daily episode, I'm going to be kind of talking more about things that I've kind of recognized about my week that I'm like, okay, I could change this here or there. And I kind of wanted to, like, I mentioned it before, kind of flipping around my schedule just a bit in a weird way, just kind of like adding new things on certain days, or like, I didn't really know what it would look like, but I do like sometimes working out from home in the mornings. It's just that it's been hot. And since I've switched the C4 to a different type of C4 that's like 135 milligrams of caffeine instead of 200, I feel like it is slightly less. And I feel like that 65 milligrams less is kind of a little more my thing. Um, so I was kind of not as, you know, like, I don't know, like, I've known that I have like a weird issue with caffeine for a while, but this is, I haven't really played with it like this in a while. Like, I feel like I'm being both productive and I'm tired, and I get like irritable once things start wearing off, and I can't really sleep well. So it's like I'm getting like benefits and costs at both ends, either with cannabis or with stimulants, or with melatonin or anything. Like, between the sleep and the energy, like, I don't get too wired, and I don't get. I can't say that I don't get too stoned. It's hard to really tell. Like, I get the munchies though, and that's really interfering with my health choices. Like, that was kind of what was going on last night. I don't think I would have wanted to eat that combination of snacks if I was, if it wasn't the munchies. Like, that's not like a normal type of food decision that I would make. Otherwise, I would have probably heated up some leftovers. Like, we had some, it was kind of stir fry, like veggies. Um, we had this like sort of like a stir fry veggies. Um, left with like, I don't know what all was in it, but like stir fry veggies. Um, like, I think broccoli, onions. Not a whole lot, but um, yeah, it's basically like a veggie meat. Sorry, I'm trying to like air the car out. It's like really getting actually humid in here, and I don't want to leave the air on. Um, the reason why I came out to record today is because I don't think I'm gonna do it in the house, and there's a lot of cloud cover, and it's breezy, so the weather's gonna be cooling down. Like, once the sun sets, it's gonna be cooler, but still got like an hour and 20 minutes for that. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for it to cool down. Like, I don't mind that it's a little warm. Um, But yeah, like it threw me off today, and I was gonna have that interview in the morning, and like so, I woke up at like 3 a.m. Uh, I don't know if it was because of that food I had eaten, maybe, because my stomach was a little slight discomfort last night. But kind of more like right after I ate, when I ate, like around 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. or so. Like it wasn't, like I hadn't been sleeping, but I think once I woke up, I felt a little, like at 3 a.m., I felt something that made it so I couldn't sleep that easily again. And I was up. Next thing I know, it was like 4 something in the morning, and I'm like, I got this interview at 9, and it's like 4 in the morning. I'm like, oh shoot. And so, I do like I usually do, and just like, I try not to, if I'm up past like 30, 40 minutes, I try not to like fight it too much and just like stay up. I'll watch a couple videos, like not full movies, but like a video or something, like certain series of videos that are like just enough to pay attention, but if I want to fall asleep, it's like whatever. But sometimes I'll watch like podcasts or short episodes of stuff that I've seen already, but like long form enough that I can like fall asleep. So like maybe 30 minutes or an hour or something. But nothing too interesting that I actually want to hear. So I'll rewatch stuff like Judge Faith Jenkins because I've seen like all the episodes I wanted to see. So I'll turn on one of those, and they're all like 20 something minutes long. So I'll just turn those on. I've said it before. I skip the ones about the animals, and I skip the ones about the car accidents because those are not the ones that I want to hear about. The cases, and so but the other ones, like, they're not very memorable. Like sometimes I don't remember the stories or who won, so like, there's so many episodes that I do sometimes go back and rewatch them because I'm like, it's easy to rewatch, and like it's like a short little show, and then there are parts that I just kind of like scrub past, because there's a lot of recapping, um, and so I kind of just, so I actually make it less than probably like whatever the 20-minute thing is, the 20-minute length. Um, so yeah, this morning I was kind of up so early, so once it was like 4 something in the morning, I remembered, I was like, oh shoot, it's officially the first of the month. And so I went onto that EPMS Ellis Online site, and I snagged up some of the um, apartment viewings in my area. I found two. One's near me, and the other one is also near me, but it requires what do you call it? Dang, what do you call it? Like a hidden microphone. And like I've always carried my phone and kept the mic running. I've only had one issue with it, like kind of turning off um in my pocket, because I probably, you know how it is, like when you use the mic app on iPhone, it can be turned off if it's like, if the um if the actual mic gets, like, if the screen gets turned on and then it accidentally bumps the button on the screen that would turn it off, then yeah, it would turn off the actual um actual recording. So I had that happen on the one that I went to with one of my friends, and I caught it early enough and was able to, I think I caught it before and was able to hit record. Or maybe it stopped somewhere in the middle, but ended up catching the enough of the recording from when I met with the leasing professional and all that, so we could like confirm the name and all that kind of stuff. Something came to my mind today, and I was like, because when it starts coming to um the recordings, I started thinking, and I was like, I know the ones that I'm recording just for my own backup proof, that's fine. Like, it's low quality. They don't really need the audio recording, but it's the best way for me to have proof. but the ones that require the audio are like hidden audio or hidden video recordings. I started questioning that because I feel like I heard somewhere, and I could look this up, but I haven't yet. I heard somewhere that in the state of California, it's not legal to record someone without their permission. And so I don't know if that's okay for us to be hired to do it. Um, like it is like $40 per viewing once you submit the report, and then it takes I think 5 more days to see if they responded, to finish the last step of the report to say if they responded or not, and if so, how they responded, like by email, voicemail, whatever it may be. Did they respond? Um, and so basically, like I know that there are a lot of companies, when you call them, they're like, this call may be recorded for quality assurance. Like they're telling you, it might be recorded. That could either mean, it can mean many things, but it can mean as part of their trainings, it can mean as part of their, auditing, it can mean as part of just like they record everything just so they have proof on their end. It can mean anything. Like we don't know exactly what that means. It's not very specific, but it implies at most everything's recording, or at least they pick and choose when they're going to record, if they ever do. um and we're notified of that like immediately before you would even start to talk. And so um I just wonder, like, maybe when these people take these jobs, they know that there's potential. Like, it was kind of funny once when I went to do a mystery shop for this one where you go to the post offices. I think it's like a $12, an $8 payout, but you can spend up to $12, I think, and get reimbursed for it. So I think I went, and I went to the store, and I used I got some. I was looking for something that weighs like 2 or more pounds. It would fit in a certain size box, and so I had the box already. I was looking for items, and at first I was gonna choose tuna cans, and then I was like, dude, that's really heavy. I mean, it's not really heavy, and so I was like, okay, let me choose. I looked it up, I think, and it was like I ended up with these like big like salad dressings, like because they're kind of heavy. If you get like two of them, it's like 2 pounds or whatever. And I did later on weigh it, and my scale doesn't really weigh that low, but when you put a little bit of pressure on it first and then just leave that box on there, it does calculate like 2 pounds or something around there. Um, so, but it doesn't really stay on the screen, so I don't really know what that means. But so yeah, that's one thing that I did. And the reason why I mention it is because when I was in the store that day, the the people who were like working, that were putting away boxes, they were having this conversation, and they're like half the aisle, or maybe like a third of the aisle down from me. So I was close enough that I could like hear them talking, and they were like, yeah, like don't you love it when mystery shoppers come and like ask you questions? Like I didn't ask them any questions or anything, but they thought it was kind of interesting that I was doing something for mystery shopping. Like I was getting something, but the mystery shopping was actually for the post office. But I had to buy something, and I was like, what could I ship that's gonna be like 2 pounds? And I didn't find anything of my own that I could send, so I was like, what could I ship? And the plan was to ship it to like one of those food banks in San Diego. Um, and then you get reimbursed for what you pay for shipping and for the box and for the item that you put in the box, but only up to $12. And then your total payout is $8 after the reimbursement. Um, so I was gonna set up a bunch of these around town, and then I realized, oh my, dude, this is kind of a little bit tedious because when you do them, you have to do them like 3 minutes apart. And I think these are through the Presto app. But yeah, when you actually do them, not three, did I say three? think I'm at 30 minutes. You have to do them like 30 minutes apart. Um, so yeah, that wasn't really good. Um, so yeah, 30 minutes is kind of a waste of time because it has to be from 30 minutes from when you leave the store. And I think I could be wrong. But I think there could be some amount that you're allowed to do per day. Like you can't do more than 3 or 4 per day or something. So I had this plan to like line them all up around town, but I'm like, okay, well that means I have to spend over 30 minutes. That means you're making about max like $16 an hour. Um, and and you have to drive. Like it wouldn't be like a whole lot of driving because there's post offices everywhere out here, but it would have to be the approved post offices, and I would have had to like put all these boxes together and stuff. And like I'm like I could probably do that once and hit up like let's say like 10 and get $80 off of it. Um, but even 10, that little bit of gas is gonna add up all the time. It means that like it took at least 5 hours worth of work, and I probably couldn't do all 10 in one day. And so, um, yeah, and you have to get like the time you enter and the time you leave. Like, I don't know if it has to say it on the receipt, but you're gonna get a receipt printed out, so it's gonna tell you more information about like when you were actually like at least the time you paid, pretty much. And so I was like, that's not really worth the effort. So I never really officially got into doing a lot of those. And then, I mean, it's something you could do for like, if you wanted to make like $100 in like a couple weeks or a couple days, like you could get your hustle on and do it, but it's not something that you could sustain yourself with and make $16 an hour uh, for an 8 hour shift every day. Like, you'd have to have like 16, 16 post offices per day that you plan to go to, and they'd all have to be approved. So once you eat up all the ones in your area, you can't keep doing those. You'd have to like spread out to other cities, and then you'd have to wait 30 minutes between, so you'd be wasting time. And you can't really do it the full 8 hours because you can't do it like right when they open at 9. Like I think it has to be at least 30 minutes after they open and at least an hour before closing. Um, and so it just seems like, and it has to be the ones that are approved on the app. So if there's not certain ones in certain cities, like you can't just go to any post office. And so I don't really think that's really sustainable. You could probably make a good 100 to 200 bucks um, off of it um, before you've probably eaten up enough of them that you're probably not going to be willing to drive that distance past those. Um, and I don't remember the payout date, so I was like, I don't really want to do that. So I stuck with the apartment viewing ones because at least they pay like 40 per viewing. And if I can do two, like last Friday I did two in a row, that's already $80 just for doing those two. But the issue is you do have to write the survey, so sometimes the surveys can take like about an hour. Sometimes they can take about 15-20 minutes. Sometimes they can take like an hour 15 minutes. So you never really fully know how long they're gonna take. I mean, yeah, I guess you can kind of gauge it. You can look at it before, but I don't really look at them before because it's like I look at the bare minimum of what I have to look at before because I've been doing so many of them. It's like it's kind of a lot to read. I'm just like I really don't care at this point. I'm gonna do it anyways. So yeah, but I was up at 4 a.m. because it's the first of the month. Not That's not why, but I went on the apartment shop ones um early because I was like, let me just do this while I remember. And luckily there were some close enough to me, and then I got a whole bunch of telephone only ones. The telephone only ones are 15 sorry, are $5 each, and you can only do up to 15 of them at a time on your list. So you have to knock them off your list before you add more. And then the other ones in person, I think you can only have 6 on your list. So I'm now maxed out on my list because I have 2 that I did from last Friday that haven't fully been taken off the list, even though they're done. I have 2 that haven't had responses yet from the people who need to answer, and then I just added 2 that are not for specific people. I don't think. Maybe one of them is. I know one of them isn't, so I'm glad about that. So I think both of them aren't for specific people. I hope they're not. The specific person ones are pretty complicated. Um. So yeah. Uh. So yeah, I did eventually fall asleep. I don't know when, but then I woke up before 8. So let's say I fell asleep from like 5 to like 7 or something. I don't really know, but I feel like I slept like 3 or 4 hours, and then I slept like maybe 2 hours. Uh, so I slept around 5 or 6 hours, which was not enough sleep. Plus having eaten not so well the night before, and you know, uh, like just it was just not a good combination of things. But I was like, I don't want it to get too out of hand. So today I did like the basics of what I needed to do. I woke up, had the C4 because I was like, I'm gonna eat, do this interview, then go to the gym. But yeah, the night before I was kind of having not doubts about it, but I've talked about this back and forth. How I'm like, I don't know how I feel about commission only work, and so the interview was coming. It 9 o'clock rolls around. I didn't eat much for breakfast. I had like 2 boiled eggs and a little bit of noodles, but not even like a lot, like a couple bites, and then it wasn't a lot of food at all. But I don't know if I was nervous or nauseous or just kind of like sometimes when I don't sleep well or when I have something to do, like both, and it's early in the morning, that combo is like I don't really get hungry at the normal times and in the normal way. Um, because it's kind of like I think I'm a little too stressed to like eat, so I just don't really eat that much. So I just ate as much as I could eat because I was like, well, I have to eat because I had that C4 and I had the C4 kind of early. Like I was debating, I was like, do I push and try to sleep more till like 8:30 and then just wake up and do this interview at 9, or do I push and do I just push the caffeine into me around like 7, and then I'll be caffeinated and ready to roll, and I'll be able to like get up and cook and eat and have energy to do all that, and having already had my like bathroom breaks and stuff so it doesn't come up in the interview. And then the interview comes around, it's 9 o'clock, I see no call. So at that time I start going through the text message of the person who was setting up the interview with me, and I went back through the text messages and I'm like, okay, I confirmed that he said he was going to message me. By that time, it was like 2 minutes past. So I go and I call his number because I had confirmed. I'm like, is this the number I need to save so I can make sure that when I see it, it's coming from you? Because I have all kinds of people calling me. It's like calling from all kinds of numbers, and I don't want my phone on. Like I don't want to take it off of do not disturb if I'm going to be getting calls, from people that I'm not. It's just like spam and stuff, and so um if I'm going to be getting those kind of calls, then I usually just keep my phone on do not disturb. But for some people, I'll put their name in there so that they can bypass that, or I'll just let some people, I'll just turn it off when I know they're going to call and then turn it back on like during the call. So I made sure do not disturb was off, made sure I didn't miss any calls from him. I tried to call him once it was like 2 minutes after, and then he texted me back like at 9:03, like, it's gonna be, I'm on another call, that, he was still on another call saying that he couldn't click over the line and he'll be with me momentarily. And as I started thinking of it, I was like, you know, it's not ideal. Like, it's not the best for people to just kind of leave you hanging, Like, I know it is pretty standard for interviews to run late, especially when they're bulk interviewing. It's hard for them to be timely about it. Uh, I did have a situation at the second clinic I interviewed in, that, you know, that the one that was by the border, that set the tone. Uh, I should have known at the interview how chaotic that place was going to be, just because during the interview, at that time, this is like years ago, during that interview, you know, there were staff consulting with the supervisors about some kind of crisis. One of the supervisors had to leave because there was some other crisis, and the interview was like almost 30 minutes late starting, or 20 minutes late or something. I think it was almost 30 minutes. And I'm sitting in the lobby with all these like clients staring at me and stuff. And like, um, so yeah, it was really weird for me. And I was like, I don't really know what I feel about this. Um, and yeah, I told them kind of what they needed to hear and everything. And I feel like they thought I was a good candidate. And I got that position. But yeah, I just remember during that interview, I was like, this is crazy that it's starting so late. And they explained why. And then, someone did make a comment. I think it was the supervisor at the time. He did make a comment that, like, yeah, this place can get a little chaotic sometimes or something like that. And I was like, okay. But little did I know that was going to be like the standard. Everything's always running late. There's always a crisis. You're always getting pulled out of. You always have to pull your supervisors and directors and assistant directors and leads out of like their meetings and stuff to come and help with consultation when there's a crisis, because there's always a crisis. Like, I don't know if we ever went more than like a day or 2 days with no crisis for any staff. And so, because that's just the kind of place it was. Like, that's why they came there. Um, because we were kind of the place where people went. It was like right on the border between needing a crisis house or a hospital and being stable. Like, they could still go home, but the reason why they qualified for our services is because they were usually just out of a crisis house or a hospital. And so, and they had a tendency to kind of go back and forth because of their conditions being so severe and pervasive. So we basically just, that was just how it was. That was how the site worked, and it worked like it was supposed to, but it was just hard doing everything on time. And I learned from that job, like, that's not something I like. So it was kind of a red flag for me. But I do know, it could have also been an anxiety related thing. Um, just kind of like, I was thinking about it though, and I was like, I don't really, and I don't think I'm coming from a place of ego saying this. I'm like, I don't feel like it was fully anxiety, because when I think about anxiety, there's so many other things that cause me more anxiety. I think there was some anxiety there because it was a lot more comfortable to not choose to talk to this person than to choose to talk to them. And so what happened was, after about 15 minutes, when I didn't hear back, I was like, that's kind of my limit, because I'm like, this person knows I'm waiting. You're already 15 minutes late. If I hadn't tried to contact this person, I looked at it this way: if I hadn't tried to contact this person, and these are all hypotheticals because I don't know, because it didn't fully go through, so I don't really know what would have happened. But I'm just looking at it from like just a what if perspective. You know, um, if I hadn't contacted that person at 9:02 and called and left that voicemail, they wouldn't have texted me probably at 9:03. I wouldn't have known what was going on. And that to me is too passive. I'm like, no, if you say you're going to call me and I know you're calling me from this number and you've confirmed that's the number you're going to be using, I will call you if you're late. If you're running late, I'm going to call you, especially if it's something that important, and you never know if they're trying to like trick you a little or see how assertive you really are. And I'm like, I have no problem in a job where, I'd potentially likely be having to call people, cold call people, deal with people by phone, um, you know. But I do, I do feel like the job would require some flexibility on that. Because if you're setting up appointments, trying to sell services to somebody, it does take a lot of that back and forth, a lot of that, oh, they forgot you scheduled a meeting, or oh, they're prioritizing five, six, seven, eight things in front of having time to talk to you, and now it's a 3 day weekend and all this other stuff, and now they're not going to be in Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday because they took all those days off, and it's like, sorry, it's like they might be a priority to you, but you're not a priority to them. And that's kind of how I felt. I know that's how the job's gonna be, and I also kind of know that's how it's gonna be. If I feel like a boss is gonna be like that, it kind of rubs me the wrong way when it's not really a job I'm super into the idea of, just because it's commission only. And I've been back and forth with this commission only thing, so that's why I'm like, I don't really want to say there's no anxiety there. But I don't feel like it was purely anxiety driving me, even though at first I was like, oh man, like, I canceled it because I'm worried. But, I don't feel like I was that worried. When I'm honest with myself, I'm like, I really don't feel like I was so worried that I couldn't have done the interview. I was more like tired and exhausted and didn't want to spend the time waiting. I didn't know how long I was going to have to wait. I mean, there was a time the other day where I had to wait, I don't know if it was 45 minutes or an hour and a half for somebody to call me back. And it's like, I got things to do, like, but it's like, the way I see it too, it's like, if I'm, the one asking for the interview, if I showed up over 15 minutes late for an interview, that would jeopardize my opportunity of getting the job, So it kind of goes both ways. It's like they're testing you, you're testing them. I'm not trying to be all paranoid about it and like, oh, they did this on purpose, or oh, they're always going to be disorganized. I know that the job it's going to lead to some kind of disorganization. But the more I kind of thought about it, I was like, I can't find this company on LinkedIn. I can't find the guy on LinkedIn who's contacting me. So I'm already like, okay, I already can't get that much information, and there's no reviews on Glassdoor. So I'm like, those three things to me, I'm like, I don't know. I want more information. Like, are there people killing it in this position? And I kind of wanted more. Uh, and with it already being late and I'm already tired, and it's like I've been up at weird hours of the night, and like, I have all this caffeine in me that I'm just trying to like wear out so I can just get on with my day with the energy from the caffeine and just get on with it, and then the rest, you know, after more than 15 minutes passed, I was kind of like, okay, I'm not really into this anymore. And so I did block the texting, but I did see that he did call me back and left a voicemail after calling a second time. But I was kind of like, I didn't respond to it, didn't listen to the voicemail. I was kind of like, it's just not going to be a good fit. And it's not because of the lateness only. I think I was doing some evaluating more and more, and I was like, is it would be worth the skills, but would it be worth the stress? And today it wasn't worth the energy it was going to take to be tired and doing this interview. And either if I get the job or not, it's like then start working for free, by word of mouth. Like, I don't think he has testimonials. The website had some testimonials, but they were all about like medical billing. Um, all the providers were like, we like the billing service kind of thing. But I'm like, do they sell other services though? Because they have like probably 10 other services listed on there. Only one of them included the billing issue. And so, like, they're able to like reduce the billing time or something like that, or outsource billing, get these professionals to outsource their billing, which I don't know how they do that, but um they're able to do that. And so I was kind of like, I don't really know. um I don't really know how to like outsource. I don't really know what that means. Like, I'm kind of like, I'd like to know what you're doing. But I mean, all the services, when I read the services, I was like, this makes perfect sense to me, like, as far as what the services were, because I've worked in a health related field in mental health, and I know like all the stuff that they mentioned kind of overlapped with something I could have seen myself doing. It was all client care related or billing related and stuff like that. So I don't know. Basically, like as I mentioned, I didn't do the interview. Um, there's a little bit of anxiety there, and I could have been in a better energy position if I would have taken more control over maybe what I was eating, when I was eating, because I don't usually eat like 8:45 at night. The times I've been eating and stuff, and just maybe limiting some of the caffeine. Um, so yeah, I kind of was, yeah, I was kind of aware. I'm aware that that's not the best way to really deal with that. Um, but I did go to the gym. But yeah, I don't know. Like the way I'm seeing it with, like, it's my life, it's my time. It's not like I'm making zero money right now. I have ways to make money. I have ways to make more money if I really wanted to put in more effort and do more. I could do more. Um, I'm making the amount that I want to make, using the amount of energy that I feel like I am willing to do. I wouldn't say I'm not pushing myself, so I'm not going to say without pushing myself, but without pushing myself beyond what amount of stress I feel is necessary for my health. Like, I'm not trying to overstrain or overextend myself right now. So this week, I kind of did get some things in order as far as like my thinking behind it. I got kind of like a new theoretical perspective on things, so kind of got like a bit of a financial project in the works for my own personal finances. Kind of got a little bit of a I don't know, nutritionally I'm kind of hit or miss. Um, Exercise and workout wise, again, I'm a little hit or miss, but I'm not zero on either. I'm not perfect, but I'm not zero. Like today, I was watching this video by Amish Potato. I think it was an older video. About how I feel like I'd seen it before, but I just wanted to rewatch it. For like a while, I was watching like these cooking videos, like from that, like so it was talking about why is Amish food so good, and he was like talking a little bit about some of the Amish foods that they like, and then he had a video where there was one of this one lady making haystacks, and this one other video with people making. I think she just was making her channel. They had other various dishes that they were making, so they made this breakfast haystack that was like, well, the first one they made wasn't breakfast, but the second one they made was for breakfast. It's like biscuits, homemade gravy. Um, so they just put like sausage with milk and maybe butter. This is stuff that I've never cooked from scratch myself, so I don't really know. Like, it wasn't healthy, but they cooked it from scratch. The biscuits weren't from scratch. They were like the ones that you just cut from the little cardboard tube and then um, put them on the baking sheet. And so there's that. Um, that's what they used for the biscuits. I think there were the buttermilk kind because she said they were fluffier. So they made that gravy. I never knew that like there's milk and that kind of stuff. But yeah, they made that gravy, some scrambled eggs. It had some kind of cheese sauce. I didn't see how they made the second cheese sauce. There was another video where, oh, well, I guess in that same video they made a version of haystacks that was like, I think they used rice, some kind of ground beef with a little onion and a whole lot of taco sauce. And I think they put like some kind of tomato sauce and some chili beans in there. Um, and just kind of, pan cooked that up a little, pan fried it a little. Um, and so they put that over the rice. Oh, I forgot to mention for the breakfast one, they used hash browns, just the frozen kind that you put in a pan. Those little bitty sticks that kind of like you just fry them up and then They're kind of loose little sticks, I guess. Basically, it's just shredded potatoes. So they use those, but they were already frozen, like pre-frozen shredded potatoes, basically. Um, Dried frozen potatoes or whatever. But yeah, they made that one uh, for the it's just like little stations where you go and put the stuff on top of the breakfast haystack. Then they made the little stations like for the other haystack. But yeah, there's had rice, taco meat, um, I think diced tomatoes, shredded lettuce. I think they used romaine lettuce. Um, and their cheese sauce, I can't remember exactly what she used, but I think it was like butter and milk and salt, and then I think she added cheese to that to make it like a white queso dip, and that was like the cheese sauce. And so they kind of do make the sauces and meats and stuff kind of more from scratch, but then there's also canned stuff involved, frozen stuff involved. So it wasn't like fully fresh. Like I think it was a Mennonite lady cooking. So I wonder if it would have been different if it was Amish. I don't really know. But anyways, like yeah, and I saw them make their peanut butter. They basically used peanut butter, but then they added like either marshmallow cream or whipped cream. And then I think the other one they used like some kind of syrup versus like another kind of maple syrup or something. I can't remember what it was. Um, but yeah, they put that in the peanut butter and then use it as a spread. And then they were saying like you could eat pickled. They made pickled beets that they were eating out of the jar with it, and then they said they put pickles on their those peanut butter sandwiches, or they would put like if they had like ham and cheese and stuff back when they used to go to like an Amish church, if they had that after Sunday service, they would put that on there too. And I was like, I don't really know. They were saying it was good, but I'm like, I don't really know. I've never had like any kind of peanut butter with like pickles or beets or whatever. I don't really know. It sounded weird to me, but I mean, I don't know if a whole culture is eating it. Sometimes I'm like, I'm more willing to eat something if other people eat it that way, and it sounds like they eat it that way, or at least it's an option. So I was like, I don't know if I'd ever want to try that. I wasn't really actively looking for recipes, but the reason why I'm mentioning all this stuff is because like I don't think my cooking is like that bad. Like usually I'm like when I watch something like that, I'm like, there's nothing of this that I could have probably easily eaten and felt like, oh yeah, this is healthy for me, like this is good for me to eat. Um, None of that was healthy. It would have been delicious for sure. And they have other kind of dishes that they were making too, and I was just like, man, this stuff is not healthy at all. Um, and especially for someone who's like as sedentary as I am, it's really not going to be the healthiest thing to really try to eat. But um, yeah, I was pretty I was watching that while I was kind of relaxing this afternoon after the gym because I was like, I went to the gym, didn't do a whole lot there, but I was like, let me get in the bare minimum, get in a workout because it was too hot for me to actually work out at the house. So I was like, let me just go to the gym, get in the workout, get on with my evening, and so I did. I was like, I rested the afternoon, and then around 4:30 or 5, I was like, let me do some podcasting. And I was like, let me just go out of the house because it's kind of late and the sun's going to be setting anyways in like an hour from now. The sun sets at 7:19. Well, it's 6:20 right now, but it sets at 7:19, and so since the sun sets at 7:19, I should be good to go. But yeah, I got a bit of processing to do over the weekend to just kind of check in with myself about some of this stuff. Like I feel like I kind of get myself involved in like weird methods of doing things where I'm like, what do I expect this result is going to be? And is this coming from a place of frustration or coming from a place of not really going for exactly what I want? Because when I think about it, I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, take a commission only based job, don't make any money, work 2 weeks. I can say I worked 2 weeks for a certain job site and in a similar field to what I need more experience in, and say that I got, even if I got no money, at least I had the 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long I would stay. Um, I would actively know the skills it takes and be able to say yes, I practiced them on the job. Um, but to then have to go and apply for jobs, and I'm talking this is worst case scenario, to then have to go and start applying for other jobs. To me, this does not sound ideal. You know, I mean, I'd rather work for $15 an hour, 8 hours a day, knowing that I could potentially get commission pay, but at least get base, and then be in like a 90-day, training program. Um, and so I'd rather do that. But um, yeah, there's a lot that I've got to kind of process over this. And I'm gonna be, you know, uh, separating things out into different segments. So depending which pod, um, some stuff might not be recorded right away. I want to get a little further along on some of these projects, and I will be recording about them. But there's something about recording things in real time for me that's that's in some ways kind of not as appealing for me. Um, so yeah. So yeah, around like 5, I did have some coffee, or maybe just before 5 p.m. I had some coffee tonight, and um, you can hear me hydrating. I'm drinking cold water. I had refrigerated a couple cold water bottles, and I'm just kind of drinking some cold stuff. So I said I'm just gonna do recordings until I have to go back home and go to the bathroom. So, or until I get hungry, because I'm gonna have to eat dinner eventually. But yeah, I'm not too. I don't feel like I'm too hung up on a lot of things right now. Like, yeah, I'm kind of evaluating as I go, and it's a slow process, but I'm kind of like making weird moves and weird decisions here and there. And it's kind of frustrating, but I think I'm narrowing in more on things. It's just, I have options, and when I keep seeing myself going towards these directions that aren't exactly what I want, and then I'm like, I have to kind of like pull myself back and be like, wait, this isn't really what you want. Sorry for the loud motorcycles. Um, but yeah, like, so yeah, I wouldn't say that not taking the interview was fully anxiety based. Um, and I really was like, okay, I don't want to like be in my ego about it and be like, oh yeah, it's not anxiety based and it's fully anxiety based only. I feel like it was kind of the anxiety is coming from it being not really something I want to do. There's a small percentage of it that's based on, it's stressful to talk to new people. I don't want to wait. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep well. I'm making poor decisions because I didn't sleep well. You know, a lot of it was definitely based on that, but um, I don't feel like it was like entirely about decision um, to not follow through with it. I really don't. Because like I said, I'd much rather go for a job where I can move up in it. I mean, I might do fine at this job. I might be fine at it and move up at it and make a whole lot of money. But there are other jobs where I could make the same amount of money and still be getting base pay. So, um, just because that one's willing to interview me, and then, on Indeed, I found out that you can see how many people have applied to that job. The other jobs I had applied to, there were like 1,000 people, like 500 people, like whatever. This one had like 60 or 70 or something like that. So I'm like, I feel like if that's the percentage of the nation, the percentage of the population that applies for commission only jobs, if you compare like 500 to 1,000 to like 60, 70 people who are willing to do these applications. And it's a field for me that's not too, um, I'm not so familiar with it. So sometimes for me, I have to look at the numbers and be like, well, why is nobody else interested in this? You know, I know I don't really do things exactly like everybody else, but also to me, that's kind of like a little sign. And they don't have a very strong social media presence. And um, the reviews seemed okay. They could have been better because it was only in one category. But I'm also very nitpicky with things and I'm very suspicious. So it's like that part of me doesn't really help. I'm a little suspicious and I'm also a little bit like overly confident in myself. So sometimes when I see something like that, I'm like, I know that there's a reason why only 70 something people applied. I know there's a reason why, you know, um like I know there's a reason why, but I don't really know actually. I don't really know that those jobs make no money. I don't know that for sure. But I can't find any reviews about that specific company either. So either they're brand new, uh, or they just don't have a lot that they've posted about. Like usually, if you can't Google a company and a bunch of stuff comes up about them nowadays, that's like either you're new because you're not ranking. Uh, but I don't know. To me, it's kind of weird, like to not have a LinkedIn presence, to not have uh people that work for the company that are contacting people. They're not on LinkedIn either. So I don't know. Like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of companies out there like that, and they did have a decent website. So their website was good, but that was in isolation. There was nothing else. They had a website, but nothing else. So so yeah, I did find myself being a little skeptical. It may be reasonably so, because sometimes when a job offer doesn't look like any of the other ones, maybe that's not a good thing. Um, I mean, it looks like all the other commission only jobs, but I noticed so few people apply for those, and I feel like if sales is something that people do commonly go into, because I know a lot of people who are in it or were in it. Um, I haven't really heard about a whole lot of people preferring commission only jobs, preferring them. Not that they don't take them, but like preferring them. And in the class, they didn't tell us to prefer that either. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I did some things okay. I scheduled some more gigs for myself, which was good. I got to the gym, which was good. My eating so far today hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been the best, but it hasn't been as bad as it could be. Um, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty. Um, I don't really know how I'm actually feeling, but I'm a little tired. Obviously, because I haven't really slept too well for a while. So, um, I don't think that's gonna change anytime soon until I start getting all the rest I need. Um, yeah, I don't know. All right, guys. So, sorry, I went kind of quiet. There was someone parked right next to me, and they came over to their car. I thought she was like walking over to me. It was like a big one of those like utility vans, and so I thought she was walking to me. I didn't assume that the hippie looking lady would be walking towards that van. Um, but it is very common nowadays for people to be living in their vans, cars, whatever it may be. That is very common. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, so that's been my day so far. I didn't really do all the stuff I had hoped to do, but I've set up some stuff for later this weekend and later in the week, and kind of have like a direction of a plan of what I'm working on. I did already make SMART goals for the areas that I talked about before. Let me see if I can pull up any of that. Um, Let me see. I made this list like quite a bit ago. Um, Let me see if it's in here. Because I feel like I'm talking about it as if I haven't, like, I'm talking about it as if I haven't um uh I don't know, like I'm talking about it as if I haven't uh like started, like it's something brand new. It's not something brand new. It's something I haven't checked in on in a while. So much so that I don't even know what I've labeled it. Um, Journal entries. Okay. Uh, so all right. So Thursday, August 16th, I think was the last time. No, I'm wrong. I didn't write it on there. Uh, I Okay, so I think I wrote it on. So I had a journal entry, like an actual typed written journal entry on like a regular journal that I write in online. On August 16th, on August 13th, and then the one I'm referring to is Tuesday, August 8th. So I'm scrolling through that one. So yeah, exercise, nutrition. Okay, podcast, career. So career is probably what I'm gonna consider to as consider as finance. I don't know if those should be separate. They might need to be separate, but I don't really know for sure. Um, so yeah, I'll have to see. But I'm still drinking water. I did make a recording this morning at eight, like eight, uh, 8 in the morning, or like 7:30 in the morning or something. I did make a recording this morning. But I decided to not post that one because I was in a different headspace then than what I got into later today. So I was kind of like reflecting on kind of what happened this morning, and I was like, I think it's for the best. Um, okay, so for example, I know psychology, right? If I saw a website in psychology, if I applied for a job, and I mean, and the psych field's different because they're usually online by now, but say for example, if I applied in the psych field for a job, um, and the application was okay, it was commission only, and you know, um, they didn't have a LinkedIn presence. The person who was like the recruiter or whatever role they had, they weren't on LinkedIn. Only 70 people had applied to that job, and then there's other sites like Kaiser or St. John's or UCLA or USC or whatever, medical centers or whatever. Um, there's other medical centers that of course everybody applies to those, but then like why did only 70 people apply to the other one? You know, to me it's just not a good sign. When I look at it that way, I'm like maybe my odds would have been better of getting that job, it sounds like, because at least I had a direct interview set up. And even though I didn't even answer the initial call when he was initially trying to set up the interview yesterday, he texted me and then we were corresponding by text to actually schedule. And so, usually companies don't try that hard or don't have as much direct contact with you by texting and stuff like that. So, yeah, usually it's not like that. And to not be able to find more information online, it's just kind of nowadays that kind of stuff is a little rare. And I understand maybe it's somebody with their own website and their own consulting service and like they're hiring sales representatives. That's kind of what it sounds like. But I don't know if they really know what they're doing or not. I don't know if I'm willing to take the risk to really find out. And that's what it feels like. It feels like a bit of a risk, um, that I felt like I was willing to want to dive towards. That now, you know, I, I feel like I'm not really interested in considering that just because they're the ones who are talking to me. Like, it doesn't sound like a good job choice. Um, it's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to be guessing for a paycheck. To me, Uber Eats is enough guessing, and you're usually at least gonna get an order in like 2 hours, especially if you're in peak hours, but it's still not guaranteed. Like some people have sat for like an hour and a half or so, gotten the orders. Maybe it wasn't peak hours, maybe it wasn't a peak area, but who knows why. But that's a long time to be waiting. I've done times where I've waited 30 minutes, an hour, gone to peak areas and, not really gotten anything within 30 minutes. Driven towards peak areas, and then by the time I get there, everything's eaten up, and I don't know if I should wait or just go back home. Like stuff like that. There is a little bit of guessing that I'm like, with Uber Eats, I'm more willing to do the guessing because it's just nice to get out and drive. It's like, if it doesn't work out, just come home. But you don't have control over how many orders they send you. You don't have control how um the orders, like you don't have control over what they send you or how much you're gonna get. Like the other day, I was driving back after not getting any orders after driving around for like 45 minutes or so. I was driving. Actually, I did get an order, but it didn't work out. And then I think there was another order that I don't remember what happened, if there were two orders or one. But either way, when I was about to turn off my app, but I didn't, I was headed towards home, and then I got an order for like $6. It would have taken me the opposite way. But then the other day when I drove, I got an order that was for like $5, and it said it was going to take 20 minutes, and it took like probably not even 10 minutes. So I'm like, there's stuff like that where it's like it actually takes less time, and then there's stuff where it actually takes more time. So it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty nice. Um, but I didn't want to keep driving. But that was after 30 minutes of waiting. So stuff like that where it's like I'd rather just get my payout same day, knowing that if I go out I might not get any money. I don't need that money that day, but it's like sometimes I'm like, let me just pay for my lunch up front or whatever. So I think, so when it comes to these goals, um as far as what I've set for exercise, I don't even have a notebook in front of me. Um but the dates I was going to be doing this, I even forgot that I put dates to it. Of August 6th to August 20th. So I was counting, I was like backdating some of the stuff I had already done. So if I extended it out, yeah. Um I don't even know what I did between the 8th and the 20th of August. I honestly wasn't looking. Or the 6th and 20th of August. And I put 6th and 20th for all of them. Nope, I didn't. I put 6th and 20th for nutrition as well as exercise. And then I put the 7th through 21st for podcasting. And the 6th through 12th for career related things. So I'm like weeks off at this point. Like I haven't even like looked at it because I completely forgot about it. But I feel like this week, let me see, what was this week? What were the dates of this week? The dates of this week. I have too many apps open. I don't know why I opened Uber Eats. I thought that lady was coming towards me before, and so I went to open Uber Eats in case she asked me what I'm doing over here. Because I've been sitting over here for over an hour. Let me see, 6/20th. So yeah, this week consisted of Sunday the 27th, and today is Friday, September 1st. And so that means last week, a lot of these things should have ended last Sunday, and I don't even know what I did before last Sunday, all the way through that whole week last week. I don't really know exactly what I hit with that. I don't take pictures of my food every day, but some days I do. I don't take I don't go to the gym every day. There's a lot of stuff I don't do as much as I feel like I like to do. But, yeah, it could be smoother, but it's kind of up to me. And when leaving it up to me, I'm not really too concerned with some of this other stuff. I have so many emails. I have so many freaking emails. Yeah, I'm gonna be. Man. Okay. Well, most of my emails are because I went and added all those mystery apartment things, uh, gigs, and so I get an email for each one. So I have like 15 plus like two, and then all the other ads that they send out every day about like encouraging you to do it, and probably some follow ups that I haven't checked, and I'm not gonna check till maybe like Sunday or Monday. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have to redo those SMART goals. I might need to add a financial project. Um, I mean, I guess I could go in and track and see how I did, but I'd have to write it all down somewhere and see how I did compared to how I want it to be. But I don't have all the details, which is the problem. I don't have all the details from those days. Like if I didn't do it, why didn't I do it, or what was going on? Like I might have recorded about it, but I'm gonna have to go back through recordings or like notes that I have in my notepad, and I'm probably not. I don't know if I'm really gonna do that. It just sounds like a tedious project. Or maybe when I start planning out the next one, I'll kind of go through. Um, I'll go through it and see what I can what I can notice at like a quicker glance. Um, but yeah, I mean it helps with a new month. Um, um, so I'm writing, revising the SMART goals, adding finance. project. I don't know. I feel like so what I might change things to is instead of career, I might put I might separate out finance versus uh versus freelance and then put career stuff in the finance category. Because, I mean, having a solid 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever, a 40-hour work week, that's not something I've really subscribed to at the moment. But I could technically, if I really wanted to, I could do 8 hours of Uber Eats. I don't want to do that, and I probably won't do it, but technically, I technically could. I technically could do that. It sounds like a bit much, but I technically could do that, and it wouldn't be bad. Um, so I technically could do that. So I'll think about it. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna think about doing 8 hours of Uber Eats a week, but I could do more. Because that would still be considered career work. Um, I don't know if that would be considered freelancing, but it all kind of falls into the same category, like getting money. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that, or just because the thing is, I don't want to add like too many categories and then never going back and reflecting on them anyways. Like I already have 4 categories, and that's already enough categories. I already forgot that I wrote them down. So, and I went like a whole week past the deadline, 2 weeks now past the deadline without even checking to see what I did or reflecting on any of it. I do have one notebook where I put my. Maybe I just need a new organizer. I'm really trying not to buy stuff, but I might. Maybe I'll just make my own. I'll make. I don't know. I don't want to make myself do like way more work on stuff, but I could use like maybe like a whiteboard software and make my own organizer where I could kind of like color code everything, um, and then move things around a little bit easier. Maybe. Um, I might be able to try like whiteboard software. Um, and then and then so I'm putting a whiteboard for organization. I don't know how motivated I am to do this. I'll have to think about that more. Um, I don't feel like I'm that motivated to go back and see what I did um all those weeks in August. But since it is a new month, maybe I will be motivated to do it tonight or something. Maybe I can do something like that. Um, I don't know if I'll share it. I might not. I don't know. But the first of the month is not off to the worst start or the best start. It's off to an average start. Um, I didn't have the energy I needed to go do deliveries. I didn't have the energy I needed to follow through with the calls to actually start scheduling the view apartments. I didn't have the energy I needed to, get in a good workout at the gym. And I don't know about the decision making with this interview so far, but I really, I don't know. Um, I'm gonna have to trust my judgment that I made the right decision. I am kind of doubting myself a little bit on it, but I'm gonna have to trust myself that that was the best decision to make. I don't know if it was, but I'm gonna have to trust that it was. I've already made it. I feel like I've been able to kind of break down into different areas, kind of what was going on for me with that situation. Um, it sounds to me like a lot of people who are applying to this field have made the same decision to not apply or to not even review on Glassdoor. So I don't know what that means, but I don't know. If other jobs that are posted at the same time are getting like at at average like nine times to um let's call it 9 times to like um I don't know, uh a lot, basically 9 to 20 times or so more applicants, then that's a pretty high percentage, I'd say. um like if some jobs are taking 500 applicants in a 2 day period and others are taking like 1,000 something in a 2 day period, and then this one's taking like 60 or 70 in a 2 day period, and they're all on the same sites, I don't know. Something rubs me the wrong way with it. It just seems a little too suspicious, um, or just underdeveloped. Like it just doesn't sound like a very established business. And if it is, it seems a little under the radar. It seems like the providers aren't utilizing all the possible services, or people have only been selling certain services. Um, I don't know if I want to do the. I don't know if I want to do the task of prospecting all the way to closing. I feel like, I'm not an account executive, so I'm not a closer yet. So I don't think I want to start where there's a program that, told me kind of like um, all the details of the levels, and, the closing level is higher than the entry level position. And so I think I need to apply for the right jobs. This isn't the right jobs, it was just options. Uh, I think what I need to do is go back to the people who declined me and ask them why they declined my application. I'd like to know that. That I think would be important to know. Um, I'm gonna have to write this down. Let's see. See, it takes me like all this time to like talk myself through things, so it's like, yeah. So I'm gonna write. Um, Respond to rejections about application and goodness of fit. All right. I don't know when I'm gonna do this. um, I think I do have things a little too scattered in too many places. Maybe it might help me to just get one thing and just write it all down for like a month. Um, but will I stick to that schedule? I don't know. Um, I don't know, but yeah, this is kind of me problem solving things out. Um, I might have a few other types of recordings to kind of get to. Um, Sorry, I'm drinking water. I opened up a second water bottle. I don't think I drank a lot of water today. I feel like I had like maybe maybe three this morning. I don't know how many I had, honestly. I need to keep better track. Um, like I had almost two this morning, or I had two before I left for the gym, from the time I woke up till I left to the gym, and then I might have had one during the time I was at the gym. I don't know if I finished it though. Did I finish it? I don't know if I finished it. Um, so yeah, Friday nights I don't really get up to too much. I'll probably do some podcasting because it's a little more productive than not. But I think tonight what I need to do is prioritize my sleep. Otherwise, I'm gonna be all over the place all weekend long. So I don't know, and I'll see. I think I might do a lot more deliveries this weekend. I think it's a 3-day weekend. Some people are gonna be indoors relaxing and don't want to wake up and get their food, and I will wake up and get the food. I don't care. Um, I like weekend mornings, driving around in the mornings because people aren't out. Um, so that's when I kind of prefer, or even like Sundays. And I'm guessing Monday is going to be pretty flexible. It's not going to be a very busy day, so I might start doing a little bit more deliveries. I've got to start making more money for this trip. I think tonight I'll buy my transportation there. I've been sitting on it, and I think I'll just buy it. Maybe I can buy it now. Let's see. Maybe I can lock it in now. Let's see if it will let me. Let's see if I can record while I'm doing this. Friday the 22nd. It's Monday the 25th. All right. I don't want to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning. I could probably leave at 11 o'clock. There's no way at 11 o'clock on a Friday it's going to be 2 hours. Even in a car, I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it 2 hours. It's going to be like a 3 hour trip, I'm pretty sure. Um, yeah, if I want to go to Old Town, I'm looking at all the ones to Old Town. I think that might be good. 11 to 1. I might do that one because it's from Long Beach. Let me see. That seems way better than the downtown one. Let me see. Is my map going to shut this off? I think my map's going to shut this off. Sorry. I hope it doesn't. Let me do this. Let me pause this recording again in case my map shuts it off. What am I doing? What am I doing? Alright, guys. So I booked my passes for about a total of 30, it's about $34 for the pass. It's about $34 round trip for the bus, and then about 20 about 27ish each way for Uber to and from home. Uber or Lyft. And then if I compare it, so I'm gonna be going to and from through Long Beach bus station instead of Union Station in LA, because Union Station is the wrong direction. It's north of me, and it is so to get to San Diego, it's an hour more out of the way. So, and it costs almost double the price. So, I'm gonna save money this time versus yeah. So I'm putting versus uh, Uber, which would have been uh, Uber was gonna be about like $51, and Lyft was gonna be about 60 something dollars. Let's call it $63. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, versus and that's one way. Versus the nearly 27 one way using Long Beach and less distance. And so, because the distance between Union Station and Long Beach, downtown Long Beach, is like really far. So I don't know exactly how far, but it's pretty far. Long Beach is not that far from me. The Uber, I don't know. I don't usually take Uber out that way, but the times I'm leaving aren't like peak hours. Leaving around 11 o'clock in the afternoon, or right before the afternoon, those aren't like peak hours. So maybe that'll hurt me, maybe that'll help me. I don't really know yet. We'll see. Um, but yeah, guys, like, so my trip is booked for San Diego. I'll get the exact numbers, but yeah, then I'm gonna need to figure out the hotel, food, and transit while I'm in town. Uh, and I've got concert expenses. Uh, so I got a budget for all this. But yeah, um, a lot of my Uber Eats and apartment gig money is gonna go to this trip. So I should come out near a little under 300 with the gigs on the day that I need to leave for this trip, but they usually pay out, it seems like in the morning, like early morning. So I think by 6 a.m. it should hit my bank. So I should be good to transfer that to the account that I need it in. And then, yeah, take it from there kind of. But yeah, it's sounding pretty good to me. Like when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, all right. Um, I think the next best important things are, the hotel. Uh, all the other stuff I can kind of schedule as I go. Yeah, the food isn't going to be that predictable. Is there a microwave? I think the microwave at this hotel. I think the microwave is in a common room. It's not. You don't get your own private microwave. You get your own private fridge, but you don't get your own private microwave. So yeah, and I'm kind of stuck staying at that hotel. From what I remember, it's not the cheapest one, but it's the closest one to the, like, it's walking distance from the bus station, and so I'd rather stay there than have to Uber to and from the bus. And you know, we'll see. It's not the quietest or nicest of places, but it's not the worst. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna. So I got that out of the way. You guys are like doing my to-do list with me today, but I've got a couple other things I need to do before I start heading home. I don't want to eat dinner too late, so I'm gonna make dinner when I get home. It's already 7:12. I've been recording forever, but yeah, guys. That's pretty much what I've been up to. Um, had a lot going on, not in a bad way, not in a bad way, just a lot of evaluating and a lot of trying things in new ways and just keeping on adjusting. So it's not all bad. I'm not gonna be like, oh, like nothing's working out, because that's not true. Um, it's not going like the absolute easiest that it could go, but it's not going the absolute worst that it could go. So I don't really have too much to say. It's just kind of going averagely, I guess. I don't think I'm making too terrible of decisions. I do need to start sleeping on time though, because I don't really do that. Um, I might need to just, I don't know, find a way to make that happen. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll do some Amazon shopping. Uh, I don't know. Like, maybe I'll just cut back on the caffeine this weekend. Um, that might be the main thing because I've always had trouble sleeping with caffeine in my system. Um, I don't really know if adding more edibles is the answer. I think maybe temporarily it's the answer, but I don't think I want to keep on having caffeine twice a day. But it is keeping me more productive. But I do think it's kind of messing with my mood a bit. Um, and my appetite is kind of a little off today. I guess after I ate those eggs with a little bit of noodles, once I got back from the gym, I only had like takoyaki. I didn't have anything else. I ate 2 pieces of takoyaki the other day, and then there were 6 pieces left today, so I just ate that. Thought I was gonna take a nap, so I didn't want to eat a lot. Couldn't really unwind, so I just kind of lounged around, and then thought about things. Did a lot of reflecting and a lot of a little learning. Like I think I like watching cooking stuff. I think I'm gonna learn more about cooking. Um, I don't know. I'll see. It's easy to say that. That's easy for me to say now. Mm. Like when I don't want to cook, I don't want to cook. But you know, I've been cooking a lot more lately, and I think I might continue to do that. I think it might be one of the things that's kind of contributing to a mild amount of weight loss, and maybe like it's not like I'm cooking healthy every day, but you know, how about eating less takeout? I try not to get it more than once a week. I don't know if I'm really following that though. Um, I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. But I've got some expenses to make up now that I'm like spending some of this money. Um, I gotta get the hotel fees. Uh, I think the amount that I'll be able to cash out from the gigs is going to be enough. And I've got some set aside, but the groceries are really eating away at that money. Um, so I'll have to see. But yeah, I'm kind of just happier doing my own thing. Like when I'm honest with myself about it, I'm like, I like being able to prioritize the gym in the mornings sometimes, or if I'm gonna do deliveries in the morning sometimes. I mean, I haven't done it as much, but now that I'm in the month where I need to kind of meet some expense goals, I'm gonna have to do that. But I don't think after this trip, I don't think that side hustle money is gonna be going to like trips. It's gonna be going to other stuff, but you know, like stuff that I need to actually pay for, not trips to San Diego. But I do need to see my friends and stuff. I can't just like avoid them. So, and it does, improve my mood. It kind of gets me more motivated and happy to see my friends and like be in San Diego. So I'd rather not avoid doing that just to save the money. Plus, I already spent money on concert tickets. It's like a 2-day music festival, so I've got to go to that too. I bought those tickets months ago. But yeah, it kind of keeps me on my toes, keeps me working more when I have stuff I have to pay for. Um, and if let me see, I don't think I need to make that much money. Can I look at Expedia while I'm on this? I feel like I've done this before. Nope, it cut me off. Nope, I'm still connected. Um, so let's see. Enter destination. Oh, it looks like I've already tried this before. Is that the 25th? Really? Let me see. Let me make sure those are the right dates. It's gonna be the 25th, right? Where the heck? When the heck is the 25th? Oh my gosh. 22nd to the 25th. Oh my gosh. The VW bus comes here all the time. So loud. Let's see. Dang. These hotels kind of cost a fortune. Let me filter. I don't need this. Price low to high. Alright. Sorry, you guys are kind of like dealing with me. I'm looking right now at the hotel. $80 a night. That's nothing. Okay. For those dates, it's $80 a night. That's not bad at all. 269 bucks. And that's the lowest price. So let me see if it goes up from there. Looking at the hotel rooms. Standard queen smoking. I don't want smoking. I want non-smoking. Yeah, $80. That's not bad. Yeah, I don't need like a whole lot. I don't need a double room or any desk or anything. Yeah. So yeah, that's not that bad. Right now it's not that bad as of today. I don't know what it's gonna change to, but it went down from 117 and now it's 80 so a night. So I'm gonna do some of that math and stuff later. And I'm gonna go home and eat, guys. I'm tired. I didn't record everything I wanted to record while I've been out. I only did this one episode, but I'm okay with that. Just kind of had to explain my week out a little bit, and then let me get home and go eat dinner. All right, guys, with that, hopefully you found this interesting. Let's see if I can actually stick to the game plan, kind of organize my head a bit, and like get it together. All right, guys, that's all for now. Have a good holiday weekend.